There's a lot going on here in Sri Lanka and especially around the world tonight. To bring you the latest of all of these stories and definitely much more, you're watching Primetime News here on TV1. Bringing you the news from News Desk, I am Sandro Satyajit. We start off taking a look at your headlines.
Death toll in Israel-Palestine war exceeds 1,000. No information on a Sri Lankan youth in Israel. Water continues to overflow from the stone barrier in Attudava. Many low-lying areas in Matara flooded.
අද දවස වර්ෂාවක් තද වර්ෂාවක් නොලැබුණොත් අපිට හැකියාව ලැබෙවි ගම්වතුර වදුරින් ටිකින් ටික මිදෙන්න.
Schools in Gaul and Matara closed for 2 days. Rainfall to temporarily reduce during the next 48 hours. General public advised to be cautious of lightning-related accidents. Do not put up billboards and cutouts with my image. President issues a directive.
මං කටවුට් වලට විරුද්ධයි. මං කියන්නේ අපි කටවුට් දේශපාලනයෙන් අයින් වෙමු.
We start by taking a look at your top story this evening. Today went down in history as one of the deadliest days in the past 50 years in the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's Foreign Employment Bureau has requested Sri Lankans residing in Israel to contact the Sri Lankan embassy in Tel Aviv in case of an emergency via the telephone number 00947166405660. Once again, your number 00947166405660.
According to the Sri Lankan embassy in Tel Aviv, close to 8,000 Sri Lankans reside in Israel. Sri Lankan ambassador Nimal Bandaras said one Sri Lankan has been injured and another is reported missing. He added that the injured Sri Lankan is being treated.
The injured Sri Lankan has been shot in the stomach and hand. With the support of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the ambulance service and the owner of the hotel he was working at, we have admitted him to a hospital. He was admitted at about 5:30 p.m. yesterday. His condition is not serious. He has been told by doctors to rest for a week. He is receiving continuous treatment. In the meantime, 4 Sri Lankans went missing yesterday. Those 4 people have left their residences as soon as the situation got better today. They have reported to their place of work. Those 4 women are alive and well. However, another youth went missing. We are hoping to contact people closest to him and obtain some information onto his whereabouts. If we can't gather information on him, we will provide the information we have to the Red Cross to find out whether this Sri Lankan is among the people that were kidnapped. We are looking for him. If those efforts are unsuccessful, we will get the assistance of the Red Cross to find this individual.
Sri Lanka's Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed concern about the attacks and escalation of violence and the resulting loss of life in Israel and Palestine. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the Sri Lankan missions in Tel Aviv and Ramallah are monitoring the situation closely and are in contact with Sri Lankans living in the affected areas. Sri Lanka called for an immediate halt to violence and calls on all parties to exercise maximum restraint to prevent further civilian casualties. The statement added that Sri Lanka remains committed to supporting a negotiated settlement in line with internationally agreed parameters of the 2 states. Sri Lanka is also closely monitoring the situation of Sri Lankan migrant workers in Israel. Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nanayakara posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Sri Lanka is ready to take swift action to protect Sri Lankan migrant workers. He said he is in direct contact with the Sri Lankan mission in Israel and has directed the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment to prioritize the safety of our workers there.
We move on to news here at home now. Officials confirmed that the water levels in the Gaul and Mathura district have begun to recede. Now 210,916 people from 5 districts have been affected by the heavy showers. Now the districts affected by the adverse weather are Gaul, Mathura, Kalutara, Gampaha and the Ratnapura districts. Now according to a report released by the Disaster Management Centre, 1,910 people are currently being sheltered at 16 safe shelters. Residents of Mathura are the most affected by the adverse weather, and Mathura District Secretary Y. Vikramasiri said that 68,439 people in the district have been affected. Meanwhile, a special discussion was organized by the Disaster Management Centre in Mathura today, focusing on steps that need to be taken to provide relief to the flood-affected people. The discussion was presided over by the State Minister of Defence, Premita Bandara Ternakon.
As of now, the water levels in areas falling under the purview of the Malimbada and Thiyagoda divisional secretariats have risen. The number of inundated areas have increased. At times, the water levels have increased. Water levels in the Akurasa and Athuralia areas have gradually decreased. Water is getting collected in Mathura. If Mathura doesn't experience heavy showers today, I believe we will be able to reduce the impact posed by the floods in the area. As of now, sluice gates are open. There are low-lying areas in Kirla spanning over many square kilometers. Several low-lying areas get inundated after the Kirla low-lying areas get inundated. If the rainfall reduces in the coming days, we believe that the flood waters will hold in Kirla. If that happens, those low-lying areas will not be inundated with water. We will take every necessary step to provide relief to the people affected by the floods. We cannot provide the comfort that you might have at your home while you're at these safe shelters. We aren't capable of doing that at this time. We are trying to provide relief to the people as much as we can. Despite challenges, the Treasury has provided us with a large amount of money. This support will be given in the coming days as well.
කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්නේ නැතුව අපේ නිලධාරීන්ට ලබලා දීලා තිබෙනවා. අපි ඉදිරි දින කීපෙත් ඒ තත්ත්වය දෙනවා.
The overflow of water from the protective stone barrier in Athurava Mathura has increased. The Department of Irrigation said water was overflowing at a height of 3 inches last night and has increased to 5.5 inches by this evening. The Department of Irrigation cautioned the general public against visiting the protective barrier due to the danger in the area. However, large crowds gathered at the site today. Many areas in Mathura, including Athurava, Kadduwa, Malimbada, Talgahagoda, Katuwangoda, Nadugala, Tudava, Piladuwa, Kumaradasa Mawatha and Kuruduwatha were flooded by the water overflowing from the protective stone barrier in Athurava. This is what the residents of Mathura had to say regarding the flood waters not receding over the course of several days.
This was a barrier made out of stones for the protection of 9 other barriers that were built under the failed Nilvala project. They increased this height amidst the strong objections from the residents here. As a result of this, today, for more than a month, over 15 villages have been flooded. People are helpless. Everyone is trying to further increase the height of this barrier and protect the residences that high-ranking officials have built in the low-lying areas in the Mathura town. But we are of the opinion that this is not what should be done. This is the failed Nilvala project. On the other hand, there is the salinity barrier that was built by the irrigation department. The people are suffering because of these and because of the officers who over many years have only wanted to release water from the water pumping stations.
This is how a person who got washed away in the strong currents last night was saved. Several areas along the Akurasa-Mathura road were inundated today. According to our correspondent, houses of residents from Godagama to Paraduwa have been severely affected by the floods. Many military vehicles have been deployed to rescue people stranded in several areas due to the floods. Many of the displaced are being sheltered at the Mathura Mahavidyalaya. The Mathura District Secretariat is providing these people with food and water.
The common difficulty these people face is the food, water and also getting medicine according to their needs. People have been here for more than 7 days is what most people here have to say us, and the difficulties go on.
අපිට ගල්බන් ටිකෙන් එහෙමම වතුර පාර තමයි අපිට මේ පැත්තට සැරට ආවේ. ඒකින් තමයි අපි ඉතින් ගොඩ වුනේ. අපේ ගෙවල් තියෙන මේ හිටටි පවුල් ගොඩක් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ ගමම වගේ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. දාහොළ විද්‍යාලයට ආවේ පෙරේද තමයි අපි එක එක තැන්වල ගෙවල් නිවාසවල පොඩ්ඩක් අපිට ඉන්න දීලා ඒ තැන්ගනුත් අපිට ඉන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් ඇවිල්ලා වතුර ඇවිල්ලා දැන් මෙහෙට ඇවිල්ලා දවස් 3ක් වෙනවා අදට.
කෑම පැකට් 3 වේලට දෙන එක පමණයි වෙන ඉතින් මේ කරන්නේ ඔය ඉන්නෝ ඉතින් අපි වැටිලා. අපිට යන්නේ එන මන් නැතිකමට මේ වැටිලා ඉන්නෝ. අපි රස්සාවට යන්නේ ඉතින් රස්සාවලට යන්න බෑ. අපිට අඳුම ගානේ දැන් සබන් කැටයක්වත් ගන්න තරම් වත්කම නැතුව ඉන්නේ. අපි ඉතින් ඉන්නෝ මේ අසරණ වෙලා මේ කතරට වෙලා.
මොනවාක්වත් නැහැ. අපේ කුස්සිත් කලන් වැටිලා යන්න තැනකුත් නැහැ.
Meanwhile, areas of Vallipitiya, Kolayedanda and Ihalawatta have been flooded due to the overflow of the Pollathu-Modara river in Valligama.
දැන් දවස් 4-5ක් විතර අපි මේ සම්පූර්ණ යට වෙලා කිසිම මේ නිලධාරියෙක් කියලා ග්‍රාම සේවක මහත්තයෙක් මම ගිහලා කෝල් එකක් දුන්නා. මෙයා විතර ඇවිල්ලා බලලා නම් ටික ලියාගෙන ගියේ වෙනම මේ ඇමති කොල්ල කිසි කෙනෙක් කෝලකට ආවනේ.
Director of the Hydrology and Disaster Management Division of the Department of Irrigation, SPC Sugishwara, cautioned residents living in low-lying areas in the vicinity of the Nilvala River to remain vigilant if the upper basin of the river continues to receive heavy rainfall.
නිල්වලා ගඟ ද්‍රෝණියේ ඉහළ ධාරා ප්‍රදේශවලට නැවත අධික වැසි තත්ත්වයක් ඇදහැළු නොහොත් මේ ප්‍රදේශවලට අධ්‍යාපන
These areas are at risk if the upper basin of the Nilvala River continues to receive heavy rainfall. There is a risk of the water that is overflowing will increase. But last night the upper basin of the Nilvala River did not receive much rainfall. Therefore, these areas are not facing too much of a risk. However, residents of Akurasa, Kamburupitiya, Malimbada, Mathura and Tihagoda should remain vigilant. They must abide by the instructions provided to them by the Disaster Management Centre and the district management units.
කඹුරුපිටිය මාලිම්බඩ
Floods have affected both the Mathura district as well as the Gaul district as well. Now, Education Secretary for the Southern Province, Ranjit Yapa, said that all schools in Gaul and Mathura will be closed on Monday and Tuesday, and the number of people affected by the floods in the Gaul district stands at 6,283.
Low-lying areas in the Gaul district have been inundated. A special discussion on the current situation was held at the Gaul district secretariat.
The Disaster Management Center together with the military have taken steps to tend to the people who have been stranded by the floods in Imaduwa and Baddegama. Relief teams are providing these people with water and dry rations. About 28 safe shelters have been set up in the areas affected by the floods. We have provided all the necessary facilities for those affected by the floods at these safe shelters.
The water levels at the Ging River was at 5.1 meters at the Baddegama water gauge today. Many low-lying areas surrounding the Ging River are currently flooded. Several low-lying areas falling under the purview of the Baddegama and Valiviti divisional secretariats have been flooded for several days. With the Ging River overflowing, many roads in low-lying areas in Kanduragalia have been flooded. Many low-lying areas in Opatha, Holuwagoda, Thotagoda and Lambaduwa have been flooded after the Holuwagoda River, which is a branch of the Ging River, overflowed. Our correspondent said that many paddy fields in the area have also been inundated. This was the situation at Mapalagama in Galle this afternoon. Heavy rains have also affected the Kaluthara district. The Bulat Sinhala Nabada road is currently inundated due to the overflowing of the Kuda river, a tributary of the Kalu river. Our correspondent reported that the flow of traffic has been disrupted in the areas including Sattangoda and Yakkala. The flow of traffic along the Beragala-Vallavaya main road was disrupted in Haputale due to the collapse of a mound of earth in Viharagala. The landslide red alert issued to 3 districts owing to the heavy showers have been extended further. The red alert was issued to several divisional secretariats in the Galle, Mathara and Kaluthara districts. The red alert is effective for Yakkalamulla, Alpitiya, Nagoda, Imaduwa and the Kadabat Satara divisional secretariats in the Galle district, Ingiriya, Valallavita and the Mathugama divisional secretariats in the Kaluthara district, Pitabadara, Akurassa and Hakmana divisional secretariats in the Mathura district. The Badulla, Colombo, Gampaha, Hambantota, Kandy and K-Galle districts have also been issued landslide warnings under Phase 1 and 2.
We spoke to the district secretaries and the disaster management center regarding the number of people who have been affected by the adverse weather. We noticed that there is a large difference between the data provided by these institutions. According to the district secretaries, 110,916 people from 5 districts have been affected by the adverse weather, while the Disaster Management Center put the number of affected people at only 71,320. Why is the accuracy of these figures important? An estimate needs to be prepared to provide food, water and other facilities to the people affected by the floods. Media reports show that floods in several areas in Mathura had persisted for over a week. The people in these areas are helpless. State officials and the military are working hard to provide the necessary facilities to the people affected by the floods. However, as a country that has experienced countless floods through the years, shouldn't politicians be more proactive in ensuring that these people receive the aid that they need?
The Met Department says heavy showers in the western, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces are expected to reduce in the next 48 hours. Issuing a warning this afternoon, the Met Department said that strong lightning may occur in the northern, north central and eastern provinces as well as the Kandy and Mathare districts. The department informs the public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
Meanwhile, in other news now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has issued a directive to refrain from using images on billboards, cutouts and posters. He has also called upon fellow political leaders to avoid including their photos in their campaign material.
The 149th anniversary celebration of the Chenkaladi Central College in Batiklo was held this morning under the auspices of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
I saw that a large cutout of me had been put up. I'm against putting up cutouts. Let's get out of this politics centered around cutouts. We brought in politics based on cutouts and slogans. In the end, the economy collapsed. Let's avoid that and think fresh. I also urge other political leaders not to display their images on every poster. The people are scolding us when they see us on television. Why must we put ourselves on posters and get scolded from them again?
The president also spoke about the future development plans for the country.
We have agreed with India to develop the Trincomalee town to bring down crude oil. Also, we have agreed to establish a trade zone. Katunayaka and Biyagama has only 400 acres. I am looking at establish one across 1,000 acres. Develop the Trincomalee port. We got a company from Singapore, Subana Jurong. They have made a massive plan. We intend on implementing that plan. There is a massive city called Trincomalee in the east. That is an economically strong center. On the other hand, for the development of agriculture, System A and System B of the Mahavali project were allocated for the eastern province, but they were not used because of the war. I would like to say that we are now taking steps to develop both System A and System B. We will use large swathes of land for modern agriculture. This will develop the agricultural sector. This must benefit the people of the East and especially the people of Trincomalee and Batiklo. We have developed a part of Ampara under System C. Therefore, we are planning on bringing massive development here. We have discussed these matters with the company Amul and Ambevela. Thirdly, a massive development can be brought through the tourism sector. Hundreds of thousands of tourists are due to come. We are making plans to develop tourism from Nila Valley to Panama. That is being done by the company Subana Jurong. We will bring about massive development along the coast. We can bring this development close to forests and valleys as well. Those are the three main programs. Develop Trincomalee. There will be no need to protest. The current issue is temporary and we will protect the rights of the dairy farmers. Join our program and we will take it forward with the animals who can produce 12 litres a day.
A protest demanding the president to provide solutions to the issue at the grasslands in Madhavanai, Mailattamadu in Batiklo was staged opposite the Pillayar Kovil along the Batiklo-Colombo main road. Tensions grew as the protesters attempted to march towards the Chenkaldi National School without heeding to police orders. Flow of traffic along the road was hampered due to the protest. The protesters allowed traffic to travel along one lane of the road after the police read out a court order directing the protesters to carry out their demonstration peacefully.
No matter how much we fought, we didn't get justice. Today, a cow died. We are fighting for grass. We are not fighting for a country or for the East. It is true that we have suffered for so long, and then we ask the President to please give us these grasslands.
We thought that the President who came to the Batiklo district would see us and provide a solution to our issues. My hopes were shattered. 2 cows died of starvation yesterday. How can these cows be taken to the grasslands according to the decisions reached at the initial agrarian meeting? How can the cattle graze on the fields when farmers are cultivating there?
The There is a severe shortage of staff at the Department of Wildlife. I believe that there are only 600 to 700 when there should be 1,200. The President speaks about green development. If all of us are serious about green development, we need to exclude the Department of Wildlife about the recruitment freeze that was imposed when the country went bankrupt and recruit the staff needed for the Department of Wildlife. There are no superintendents, wildlife rangers and assistants. When these people are not there and you deploy the civil defense force and incidents like the one with Sita happens, it is such a shame. Above all of that, there should be parliamentarians who love animals. There are not even 10 parliamentarians who love animals.
That was the opposition leader Sajid Premadas speaking at the Sectoral Oversight Committee meeting on the environment and natural resources. As you saw, he said that solutions should be provided to the massive shortage of staff at the Wildlife Department. We move on to some other news now. The annual meetings of the World Bank Group and International Monetary Fund will be held from the 9th to the 15th of October in Marrakesh, Morocco. Now, news first, Zulfik Farzan reports from Marrakesh, Morocco.
Delegates from more than 150 countries are expected to converge here in Marrakesh, in Morocco, in North Africa, for the 20th International Monetary Fund and World Bank annual meetings that will take place just a short distance from where I am right now. We are being told that security in this entire region has been increased ahead of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank annual meetings here in Marrakesh, Morocco. Representing the only news agency to represent Sri Lanka here at the annual meetings of the IMF and World Bank in Marrakesh, Zulfik Farzan for News First.
The Samagi Janabalavek introduced a new proposal to the government today on a method to reduce the income tax of the people.
From 100,000 to 150,000 a month. The current slab is 41,668. We propose that the first slab be made 50,000. Tax that at 6%. The next 50,000 at 10%. The next 50,000 at 14%, the next 50,000 at 16%, the next 50,000 at 18%, 20%, 22%, 24%, and for every slab after 500,000 rupees, tax it at 24%. We will be able to earn 83 billion under the current compliance rate, and if there is 100% compliance, we could collect 120 billion rupees. Let's assume that we only get the minimum of 83 billion. And if a surcharge of 15% is imposed on those earning above 750,000 rupees, that will enable us to collect 91 billion rupees. The government can collect the 100 billion that they expect. Not a single political party has proposed an alternative. We from the Samagi Janabalavek have proposed an alternative. This alternative that we proposed will not cost the treasury a single rupee.
News first, Tasneem Rafi joined the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, who is preparing to cater to your musical taste buds this October as they bring you the Women of Note. The Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka will present the music of three unique composers, Clara Schumann, Emily Mayer and Sri Lankan composer Shannon Jacob, in an event coming up this month. The concert will be directed by Dushi Pereira.
Music is a very important part of our lives, as it is a way we can express our emotions and feelings. Right now, I'm here at the Ladies College Auditorium where the rehearsals for Symphony Orchestra is taking place. The atmosphere here is very energetic and melodious. As you can see, these talented instrumentalists are working really hard to put on a beautiful show.
This includes a group of musicians from across all walks of life to carry the legacy of the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka. Shannon Jacob's work Motherland's Belonging was written for SOSL and will be premiered on the 14th of October.
What it represents to me is what it feels like to live between two worlds. I'm based in the United States, but I grew up in Sri Lanka, and I am very deeply rooted with my family and my community here. So the piece is really a kind of grateful overture to represent all of the caregivers of my life who have helped me feel like I belong.
Shanti Dyers, another noteworthy woman of music, will perform Clara Schumann's brilliant piano concerto.
She composed the third movement of this piece when she was only 14 years of age, and only 2 decades later she went back and wrote the first and second movements and performed it herself for the premiere 20 years after composing the third movement.
TV1, Legends FM and Yes FM are the electronic media sponsors of the event.
Continuing our quest for raising mental health awareness amongst the staff of the Capital Maharaja Group, yet another workshop was held at the CMG head office in Colombo.
The Capital Maharaja Group held a special workshop for its staff members yesterday ahead of Mental Health Day next week. The morning was dedicated to understanding, nurturing and celebrating their mental health. The workshop included a lineup of fun activities, including a yoga session with certified yoga instructor Indi Sirivardhana. Discussions and mindfulness sessions were also held for the CMG staff to learn about mental health issues and the importance of speaking up. The sessions were held by licensed clinical psychologist Chanel de Almeida, certified healing and meditation guide Natasha Yatawara, and senior volunteer at Sri Lanka Sumitreo, Harinda Fonseca. The workshop was open for all CMG staff and was also attended by Group Chief Executive Officer Sunil Kanoja and Group Director of Human Resources Suranga Jailath. The workshop concluded with a dance session with Ranu and Himeshi.
We move on to news overseas now. The death toll from strong tremors that shook western Afghanistan has risen to over 2,000. This is one of the deadliest earthquakes to strike the country in 2 decades.
A powerful magnitude 6.3 earthquake followed by strong aftershocks killed dozens of people in western Afghanistan yesterday. In Herat city, the earthquake was followed by at least 5 strong tremors. According to reports, telephone connections went down in Herat, making it hard to get details from affected areas. The World Health Organization in Afghanistan said that it dispatched 12 ambulances to evacuate casualties to hospitals. The Taliban urged local organizations to reach earthquake-hit areas as soon as possible to help take the injured to hospital, provide shelter for the homeless and deliver food to survivors.
Official ICC Men's Cricket World Cup India 2023.
In exciting sports news, India took on Australia in the ICC Cricket World Cup tournament in India today. Now, cricket fans can watch all the action of the ICC Cricket World Cup via the MTV MBC networks, the official local broadcast rights holder of the World Cup. Now, the matches will also be streamed live on www.siriusatv.lk. And that's a wrap of Primetime News here on TV1, bringing you the news from the news desk. I am Sandro Sapajit signing off. For more news, you can visit our website at www.newsfirst.lk. Have a beautiful night.